I started actually hosting kids when I started teaching kindergarten. A teacher I have next to me, we actually set up timeout chairs in each other's classrooms, and it's kind of a process that we do where as a timeout, it's kind of like the third timeout that they go to the other teacher's classroom, and it works out well that way because not only is the child getting a break from the classroom, the teacher's also getting a break from the child, so it kind of works out well as far as that goes. The children from other classrooms that I've hosted, that actually has started in the last couple years. A lot of times, it's just something that I kind of volunteer to do it actually. At first, I started volunteering to do it. Now I have a lot of teachers asking me if their children can spend time in my classroom, and it's for different reasons. Sometimes it's for positive behavior. Sometimes it is as a punishment, and again, that's so the teacher can have a break and the student can have a break from the classroom as well. So. A lot of the students that come to my classroom that I host have been former students of mine. So it's easy for me to build a relationship with them because I've had them in my room in kindergarten. And there's also kids that come to my room that have not been in my classroom. And what I found, knowing that they have difficulties in their classroom and stuff, a lot of times I'll see them in the hallways. I'll even see them in the office, and it's just little things. I just say hi to them. I just ask them, what they did last night, what they had for dinner. If they're working on work, I ask them what they're doing or if they need help with it. I do a lot of I notice sentences, which means I noticed that you wore a new coat today, or I noticed that your shoes are untied. You know how to tie them. I mean, it's just things like that, so they know that I'm looking at them, I'm paying attention to them, things like that. And it's amazing, like the relationships you can build with kids just by having those little tiny conversations with them. It's brand new kids to the school. I'll do that too, and it's quick and easy for me. It's literally as I'm walking by them, and it's just something that they notice, and therefore, even if they don't know my name, they know my face, they know I speak to them. It's kind of a respect thing. I show them respect, and they not automatically, but most of the times tend to show me respect because of that. So. A lot of times when I know that I'm going to have a student in my classroom from another classroom, I've actually talked to my students about it before they show up. Especially a couple that I've had this year, I've sat down with my class, I've talked to them and said, this is why, I'm actually really honest with my class. This is why they're coming. They're having difficulty in their class. And so my class kind of knows when they come in that it's that child's time to come in, and I may have to show them a little bit of attention. My class knows what to do when I'm talking to the other kids. So they're actually really great with it. And sometimes when the other kids come in and I make it, I'll be like, did you have a good day today? And I'm like, yeah, my class will cheer for them. I mean, they're so great about it, and it makes me so proud of them because they are very helpful. 5 and 6 year olds, they love everybody. They love everyone who walks into this room. So it's really great for my class to see, and have these other kids. And it's kind of the same thing. I talk to the kids that come to my room, the kids that I host. I tell them, this is my class. I do have to teach my class. I expect you to not disrupt my class. But I also talk to them about how they are a role model for my class. So when they are in my room, they have to follow my rules. This is what I expect them to do. And that works out well, too, because they know that these little kids are looking up to them, so they're expected to, be that good role model for them. So it's kind of a win-win for me in a way because, and a lot of times I'll give my host kids kind of responsibilities with my kids. I'll be like, I need to go over and talk to this group. Can you go over and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do? And, it's giving them that kind of responsibility and things like that. Just, it kind of in a way forces them to act the way I need them to act when they're in my room. So like I said, it's really kind of a win-win for me. It's kind of, I get little helpers in my room sometimes, and my kids really love it when they come to the room. I mean, it's just somebody different than me, so they really like that. A lot of times when children or when the students come to my room, it's arranged by both myself, their classroom teacher, and sometimes the office. there's a lot of times that I go to teachers when I see a student having difficulty that's been in my, especially the ones who have been in my class. I'll go to them and I'll tell them, use me, use me as you need me, use me as a positive thing. If you need a break, send them to my room, and I'll tell them, they like coming to my room, and a lot of times what happens there is we don't know. A lot of times when the kids come to my room, I don't know if they're there for positive or negative. So we try and figure out a way to let me know that before they come to my room. A lot of times we'll have them email me as soon as they leave the room. That way when I know when the student walks in, I need to go over and check my email. We've done even like colored Post-it notes, like, one color means one thing, one color means another thing. And even though they'll write something on there, it doesn't really mean anything. I mean, just little things. So, because sometimes if the student knows they're coming to my room because it's a negative behavior, they don't want to come, or they're not going to show up, or something like that. So if they don't really know why they're coming, it becomes a different thing. So a lot of times, I set it up. The office has come to me and asked me to take students before, so it's set up by them. The teachers have come to me before and asked if I will do it. So it's kind of a whole school type situation. And, I like that, though. I like that everyone knows that, my door is open for students, when they need it. And it's kind of a good feeling to know that they think that I do well enough with their students to do that. And the students feel like they can come to me when they need me and things like that. I've had students ask if they could come to my room. I've had them show up at my door and go, if I do well in my class today, can I come to your room? And how are you going to tell a kid no? I mean, obviously. So, of course, I'm going to let them come. So I always try and work that out with their teacher when they ask that. And sometimes it's the students who have troubles, and sometimes it's not, because I oftentimes feel bad for those kids who do such a great job in their classroom but don't get rewarded for it, where they watch these other students have trouble in their classroom and they feel like they're getting rewarded for it. So I'll go to the teachers and say, if you have some students who are just doing some outstanding things, send those students too. They should get rewarded as well as everyone else. So like I said, I just like to make it like a whole school type thing, and that's one thing I like about it, is that teachers, the office, the students, all of them know that my door's open. They're more than welcome to come to my classroom. So. A lot of times, I've been asked, why I let these kids come to my room, and isn't it difficult for you and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not always easy. I am trying to teach my class. I have a class full of students, and allowing these kids to come into my room can be difficult at times. Some of the tricks that I found that work the best to make life easier for me and to make life easier for my class, like I mentioned earlier, always talk to your class about why these kids are coming into your room. And you don't need to be completely honest or specific about things, but just let them know that these kids are going to be coming in. Let your class know what you expect of them when these children are in your room. Also, when the students are in your room, the host students, you need to make sure they know what their job is in your classroom. I'll have students come in, and sometimes I don't even see them come in because they know right where to go and right what to do when they get in here. And sometimes it's, just passing out the papers. They know what to look for. Sometimes I just leave things out for them, and they know right where to go for those types of things. Always have a plan with their classroom teacher as well. Like I mentioned earlier, we have emails, we have the Post-it notes. You always have to, have a plan with that teacher to know what they expect of you, because I am not their classroom teacher. If they are supposed to have work, they need to let me know that they're supposed to be coming here to do the work. So there's got to be some kind of plan between you and the classroom teacher, because I've had kids, try and throw their work away in the bathroom on the way here. So, you always have to have, a plan in place and things like that. And the biggest thing I would say is you have to have a relationship with the children before they come into your room. It's very hard for me to ask something of a child, like if they're having a bad day, have them sit down and do their work. If they don't respect me and they don't feel, like I respect them, there has to be that mutual respect before they can come into your room. If a teacher is asking you to take a child, don't say no, but say you need to, you need to meet with the child beforehand. You need to sit down. You need to talk with them. I can tell you about my students' lives in school. I can tell you about them out of school, because I try and get to know everything I can about them. Just the other day, I was having a conversation with a student. He wasn't very very cooperative at the time, and I literally just started asking questions like, I heard you moved lately. Where did you move to? You know, what's around your house? Who lives around there? I mean, it's just stuff like that. They enjoy telling you about their lives, and then I can also build a relationship off of that. I can talk to them about, you know, things that they do around their house, and you know, and things like that. So it's just building that relationship, I think, that is the most important thing, I think, in order for you to be successful with students that are not in your classroom coming to your classroom. And the other, like I said, the other thing is making sure your kids in your classroom know why they're there and what you expect of them when you're dealing with those students.